Hey everyone, I'm Klloo, and welcome to the data pack Runechant, A World to Discover, a massive survival data pack filled with magic and mysteries. Experience new seasons as you traverse different biomes, craft and cast powerful spells, enhance your weapons with new forms of brewing, or gain different abilities through trimming equipment, which has also been extended to weapons and tools. With 8 new advancement tabs to pursue, come experience a whole new world. The data pack is finally at a state release, so no better time to start playing and preparing for more endgame content to come. You can find the pack on Planet Minecraft or Moderate, or of course in the links down below. Hey everyone, I'm Klloo, and welcome to the data pack Runechant. So today is going to be a little bit of a slow one. So we are currently going through the features of the pack, right? Sort of giving a little tutorial on how to utilize them and what they do. But we're going to take it a little bit slower, and we're just going to do some discussion. We might dabble into the season rework that I'm currently working on. But first off, the pack has been gaining traction, right? To anyone watching these videos, to anyone who's checked out the page, download the pack, even played it, thank you. So it's wonderful to see, and it really spurs me on to obviously continue putting a lot of effort into this, because this is just something that I am working on in my spare time, and I have put a lot of my spare time into it to get it to where it is. But in saying all that, the pack in its current iteration is still a work in progress, right? It's still in its beta. It's nowhere near its real full release, or the state, I should say, that I want the pack to be in for the majority of people to enjoy it. So in that sense, there are a lot of things that I'm not going to put a lot of time into at the moment. For instance, the Planet Minecraft page. It's just there for anyone who's interested. The main reason I even put this out there was because I had people ask, is there somewhere where I can download it? Is there somewhere where I can play it? This looks great. And again, that's wonderful, but it's not done, right? The best thing that we achieved was the pack is finally at a stable point where I feel comfortable that anyone who does download and does play it won't run into any major issues. But there is still a lot of content for me to implement, a lot of content for me to scrutinize, to go over, to balance and rework. Even right now, the big thing that has snagged my time is the season rework. I want to fully rework the seasons, balance them out, make them a bit more cohesive across the different dimensions, across the different biomes in Minecraft, and give them, a personal feel to each thing rather than just broad effects like they once were. And in doing so, well, that's a great thing. It has sort of messed up my timeline of what I wanted to work on and what I wanted to achieve for the pack in these, coming months. Working towards Minecraft's release of 1.21, because that's the big thing. I want this pack to be ready for that release. That is the goal that I have personally, right? The full release of this pack to be timed around that. But then that also means I have to not only finish the features that I want, balance everything, but also get the pack ready for 1.21, because they have implemented a lot more things than what we were expecting, right? There's new entities, there's a lot of behind the scene changes that I need to fix in order for the pack to actually work on that version of Minecraft. But why don't we just go over things in sort of a scope of a timeline and talk about the features that I do want to implement and the stuff that I do want to rework and balance, because there are a ton of pages, right? We have, how many is it in total? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 9 advancement tabs. I want to squeeze one more in there just so that it's completely symmetrical, because the normal player won't have access to this one. This is just for some function mechanics. So that way there's, again, all the tabs are filled out, and I think that's nice, right? OCD a little bit. So there's still one more tab that I want to implement. What it will be, I'm not too sure yet, right? It will probably be another form of magic that's a lot different to the spellbook system, because the spellbook system is massive. So that's definitely its own advancement tab. So it will probably be another form of magical items. But again, they're just a work in progress at this point, a thought at the least, and there's nothing concrete. So that is still a major thing for me to work on. Yes, I can pull a lot of concepts from what's already been built, but I got to do the art. I got to then write all the functions. I have to test it, right? I'm one man working on this pack, in all honesty, right? And again, it's what I do in my spare time, my free time, and while I thoroughly enjoy it. And again, I'm really grateful to anyone who has their own interest in this. It is still something that I can only do so much of in so much time. And the other big thing, because I have seen it a few times, well, why don't you reach out to other people? Why don't you collab? I don't really want to. the way I'm going about this is significantly different. I do not have any experience with data packs, right? I'm doing all this from scratch, learning as I go, and I've learned from very helpful people that I'm grateful that they reached out to me, that the way I do things is different. And sometimes it isn't the best way to do things, but it is also an interesting take. And, that makes me happy because, again, it's my own touch on things. It's my own way of doing things. And to me, it's more about the journey, right? I'm going to be so ecstatic when the pack is finally done and I can play it start to finish. But learning all the skills to do this, to make this pack, to build everything that I envision is fantastic in its own right. Now, the big end game thing, though, will be this, the Labyrinth of the First. Now, we have a conceptual idea for this, and we had it working back when the pack was a command block world. So that is wonderful, because I can just port over the commands into actual functions, polish them up, and that should be fine. And the main concept of it is I want to make a dungeon, right? So the Nexus area that you can get to, the Enchanter's Nexus, the little gates on the side of there, if you've ever been there, will essentially spawn randomized rooms. Now that is still going to take a lot of work because I can either go down the structure route and do random structures where you still need a little bit of input, or I can do just straight up functions and jigsaw it myself. And again, I know the structure way is probably the correct way to do it, but I'd have to learn that. Whereas for me to just jigsaw with functions, I already self-taught myself that way, even though it's not the correct way. So again, it's that mental roadmap of, do I just try to brute force it and work it out for myself? Also, God, no music's so annoying. I don't know why it just never triggers. Sorry, little anecdote, interjection. But yeah, do I brute force it, or do I, look for ways that other packs have done, right? Learn from their version of creativity, which I don't really like, right? I like my creativity. Oh God, I don't know what I'm trying to say. But yeah, so we have the Labyrinth of the First. This will be the final feature of the pack, the final thing I work on, and the end game content. Something that you can repeat, you can do a lot, and there'll be, a final boss for the pack, and that hopefully gives closure to everything you've built up and you've worked towards. In between that and now, I'm currently working on the season rework. I'm hoping to get it done by next week, maybe the week after, because there's still a few things I want to do. In fact, yeah, we can show some stuff off because I do have it set up. Yeah, okay. So if I click this button, we look up to the sky. Yeah, there we go. So this is something that can spawn and just happen if you're in the season that's affected. And it's interesting, right? It's a cool little mechanic. It's meant to be sort of like ender pearls instead of normal snowballs. So it's like, it's called Ender Hail, the season in itself. So I thought that makes sense. But again, coming up with that style of feature for 20 different seasons, that is where it gets a bit slow for me. Oh God, what did I call it? I think it was Creeping Vines. I hope that's correct. We'll see if something spawns. Yeah, perfect. So this is another interesting one that we worked on stream, and this ended up taking the whole 2-hour stream. And all it is this little bush that grows and grows and grows and then ages and decays away. And so it'll spawn in. If you see it, it might creep towards you. You don't want to touch it because you'll take damage, you'll get poison and nausea. And then eventually it will decay. You can see that one there in the middle turn brown. The ones around it turning brown, and then slowly they'll destroy themselves and fade away. And it should always outcompete its growth rate. But I do want to make fully formed seasonal events or effects like this and make them functional. Then I have just an old list of features that were part of the original iteration of the pack, again, when it was a command block world, that I haven't gone to. So there's lots of minor things still for me to do and work on in between all the major things. And speaking of major things, we'll wait for the last one, DK. There we go. We have bosses. So bosses are going to be a big thing of the pack. Now, I don't know if you've noticed or if you know, because it's been a while since we've shown it off or done anything with it, but every mob in this pack has a repertoire of abilities they can access, bosses included. So the bosses themselves, I have to design all their abilities. And that's so itself, again, what tab am I? No, this is correct tab. All right, so we have this one, a delectable treat. drop some beef, mutton, and a pork chop onto a fletching table. So if we grab out all of our ingredients, that one, and that one, we can get ourselves a fletching table, which we have set up nicely. Right, we can get ourselves this clump of meat, which says boss summon on it. We then need a warden friend. Spawn him in, throw the clump of meat at him, and a spider spawns. Right, spider should defeat the warden, hopefully. You can see there, boss bar and everything. No, it hasn't aggroed. I guess. Oh, he's going to attack it though. You gonna go back? No. But there you go. So we've got the spider using some of its abilities. Chosen meal. The warden itself, feasting Klloo. Bind. All right, just a ton of cobwebs. Yeah. So the spiders. Well, I guess it's not nighttime yet, so the spider's not aggroing. Oh, sure they retaliate. Well, they're going after the training dummy, and we've just created a real mess here. We can go ahead and give myself max strength. Infinite, 99. As you can see, they're doing lots of things, right? Which is what we want. We want activity. Get rid of you, get rid of you. Oh, God. We didn't KO the boss. And if I'm the one that's the boss, because it's just going to continue spawning in a bunch of webs. I think that was it. No, it's used... Someone's used nesting. God. So much cobweb. But that should be a fun fight, right? Imagine you're down in the ancient city, you spawn it in, it's meant to one-shot the warden. It pretty much can one-shot the warden. There's a function in there that does that, but it has to attack it. And then all these spiderwebs spawn, right? So then the ancient city becomes a lot more treacherous because you're no longer worried just about the warden, you're worried about spiders and all the cobwebs that are spawning. As you can see, it didn't take long, it spawned a bunch in. Now, to put that in perspective, this is one boss out of so far 20 that are planned, right? And I had all 20, again, functional for the most part in the command block world. So it's as much about porting them over and adding to them. It's, oh God, I can't get to the cobweb because you're in the way. Well, I guess you're going. Bye-bye. Right, cleaned up, we can set the time. But we have how many completes? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And when I say complete, I haven't tested them. So again, there are so many features. I have this really bad habit of continuously creating features. As soon as I get an idea, I've got to make it, and then not thoroughly testing anything, right? And again, to that degree, that's why I want to reiterate that this pack is very much in an open beta. Anything you can test, anything you find is fantastic. Any feedback, any suggestions are all greatly appreciated, but it is still going to be, a slow crawl. So I just want to get that out there, right? So thankful for the traction the pack is gaining, but I don't want it to really ramp up. I don't want it I don't want to put effort into that side of things, into the marketing side of the pack, basically. Right? I want to get the features done. I want the pack to be done. I have wanted to play this since I had the idea. This whole concept was just me making a version of Minecraft that I wanted to play. And I can't wait to be done. I can't wait to actually play the pack, have a survival world, go through everything we show off in a survival setting, become super OP, and then fight the creatures of the pack that are equivalent, because you can easily outscale the normal content of the game with all the new features. The mace is going to be a fun thing to work around too in terms of building bosses. That's another thing to keep in mind. But yeah, it's just gonna take time. All right, quick timeline. Right, current goal. Right, reworking the seasons. That is the #1 goal. Right, the next major feature was meant to be bosses, but it's the seasons. So finish the 20 seasons. Then I'll finish the 20 bosses. So we've got seasons, bosses, and then after that, another probably round of testing and bug fixing. Then we can start working on either the labyrinth or again that 10th tab, which again will just be a whole collection of magical items. Probably tie in the seasonal stuff because I couldn't help myself. I had to add new trims. So for instance, we've got a 5-season cycle. We have Frost, Scorch, Ash, which I think I'll rename to Gale because it makes more sense. Ender and Life, right? So Ender, Life, Gale, Ash currently. Frost, Scorch, and then this I'll probably whack on a boss and have it as an amalgamation of all the seasons. That's another thing with 1.21 that I will love using is the whole scaling since you can scale any mob. Oh yeah, if you're wondering about the snow, that one's a fun one as well. If we change this to snowfall, it's kind of like a blizzard, right? So if we look up again, it should form. Am I looking in the right spot? I might have named it incorrectly. Snowfall seems right though. No, I can do it this way. Go function, Runechant, mobs, / seasons, / here we are. So we have snowfall. So it should be, you know what? I betcha I capitalized the F. Which is annoying because I didn't do it on the, yeah, there we go, on the enderfall, right? Yeah, so it spits out snowballs and the snowballs actually spawn snow. That one's annoying because it hit the button. And even minor things like this, right? Making sure that this is an interaction that can't happen when we got hit. We got slowness and mining fatigue from it. Which actually, I didn't realize the particle was so intense. That's actually kind of cool. I like that. The amount of particles it gives off when it hits the player. Was that? No, I think we got an effect. No, we have frostbite. Not snowballs. Snowballs are just normal. But yeah, right? Fun times. So again, I wanna make sure everything's polished. I wanna make sure everything's cool and fun and interesting. But like usual, just it'll take its time. Anyway, hope you enjoyed. See ya.